Uh-oh, this map looks cool and complicated, and there's numbers in the ocean. Those aren't numbers, those are words. Anyway, welcome back to What If Civilization Started Over, Episode 5, which is... Sorry, that was really crackly, I forgot about microphone. Sorry about that. Episode 5, which is crazy we got this far. I'd like to say thank you to all the people who subscribed and liked the videos and watched them and commented. And please keep commenting and stuff. Your suggestions have been really helpful, and I've added in loads of stuff. Like giant squares, which I can remove, so don't worry. The squares, not that one. Squares can disappear, and the words, and whatever this is. I can't remember what this is. Oh, I remember what that is now. Yeah, I'll remove all this stuff. Anyway, so, in the last episode, which I recorded quite a long time ago, I've added more stuff in. We had wars in Italy, which they're all free now, and Greece has influenced the northern two states. I'll talk more about that later. The Caucasians expanded north, and we had more stuff there, and generally more expansion around the world. I mean, it's only... There's one thing that somebody wanted to see. I'm sorry, I cannot remember your name, but I will be adding your suggestion, which is the year. So I'm going to put the year in the Indian Ocean. It is currently around 800 BC, and I'll try to keep updating this every episode. Actually, I might move this. Let's just move that. Move it next to... Oh, this is top 10 ranking, by the way. I didn't talk about it. I just said it's stuff in the ocean. Yeah, 800 BC. This is top 10 countries. So, number 1, we have the Red Mesopotamian country. Let's just remove that. Red Mesopotamians, the Caucasians, the Persians, which are these guys. Then it's India, Tunisia, Greece, the Bosphorus country, not Bosnia. What's CA? Oh, Central Asia. Then it's Turkey, the Greek Turkish one, Greek green Turkish one, and southern Italy. So, yeah, that's top 10 rankings. Don't mean too much right now because there's not that many countries, but there you go. That was something interesting. And the other thing that I added, apart from something else, is ideology map. So the yellow is monarchies, so most of the countries are monarchies. Then in India, they have an early form of democracy, which is a council sort of thing. So they elect people to go on a council to decide things that happen in the country, so that's pretty cool. And then over here in southern Italy, we have two aristocracies, because on the throne of the northern Italian countries, there's Greek princes, and then these guys didn't get any Greek princes. So at the moment, they're just trying to decide which one of their nobility is going to become their monarch. So cool. Anyway, let's look at stuff happening in today's episode, and also take this layer off, and probably add this one back, because I like it. Or not. Anyway, so, the problem of getting a monarch for these two countries is arising, I don't know, it's like, we should get a monarch, and the red team, the green team, and the Tunisians all want to get one of their own people to become the king of these countries. However, they've already got a lot of people that want to be their king, and eventually they're going to host a banquet to decide the king of southern Italy. They don't care about Sardinia. So they all go to Taranto. I don't know. That's like the only bit in southern Italy that I know. And that's the peninsula. So they go to Taranto, I suppose, and they're going to have a big talk about who they're going to elect to be king. Which, electing to be king? No, you can't do that. Anyway, in the end, there's no Greek candidate, no Bosphorus candidate, and no Tunisian candidate. None of those guys make it to be the king, and eventually they actually just elect... No, not there. Yeah, there's a lot of layers. They eventually just elect a southern Italian one to be their king. What? I see. A southern Italian monarch. So, there you go. There's that. However, a plan was concocted whilst they were there between various countries, and after a while, a war is declared. This is the red team, and they will be declaring war on the Greeks, as in this area they got some support from other people, and we'll talk about them later, I suppose. However, the red team is going to start its invasion into Greece. So let's get major cities up. Greece has got quite a lot. I think... Oh, God. Let's see. Where were they on the rankings? If this is right, it is. Greece was ranked 6, whilst the Bosphorus country was ranked 7. And some other guys might be important for this. They are very close. Quite important to note is that the red team's technological and military advancements are much further than the green team. However, the green team makes a lot more money. So that's cool, I suppose. Anyway, they're going to start pushing in this quite rural area. However, it's close to the capital. And they're also going to take this city around here. So that's good job. Apart from that, there's not a whole lot to do. And they're going to make a pretty big advancement in this very rural area to try and cut off the green team. I don't know what's going on here. Is this like a partially destroyed city or something? So the northern groups aren't as linked as they are in the south. However, the green team has a trick up their sleeve. As the green team, with, relations to the king in these two countries, is going to try and call in these nations to help them out in the war. Unfortunately for the Greeks, these guys aren't very strong. They're some of the poorest nations on earth, especially this country. I mean, yeah, your land has lots of potential, but you've got 2 cities. You're not going to do anything really. So it maybe helps a little bit in the north in slowing down the red team's advance. However, they can't stop this Bosphorus Empire, and they'll separate off the northern area. Yeah, these guys might have some claims on this stuff, so don't worry about that. Anyway, down here in the south, going is a lot more tough for the red team, and they're actually going to lose some land to the Greeks as well. However, they are mysteriously getting funded by another country. I wonder who. The Greeks will actually push the red team all the way back to their border over here in the north, and it looks like they could possibly start invading this country. Although taking the capital is going to be very tricky. It's very far away. No, I guess maybe. But classic Turkey versus Greece war, great stuff. So the one major city is taken, and this is going to cause a bit of a collapse in this northern bit, as the Greeks are threatening this area. However, the red team, yeah, this group, it's kind of separated from the rest of the red team, but they just go through this bit that they haven't claimed yet. And they're going to push up against a very undefended area. They don't have, what was that? Oh, they don't have naval supremacy, but I don't think really anyone does. And they just start working down the coast of Montenegro and Albania, heading towards the more core territories of Greece, which apparently don't have many cities. I don't know why. They should do, but they don't maybe. Also don't know what this is. The Italians in the north are doing this. Good job, Italy. You're pretty useless. And eventually someone's going to come in and help them, and it's the southern Italians. Or not help them, I mean help the red team. Yeah, it's not going to go great for you guys. So the southern Italians have an amazing job invading these guys, because all their troops are out in the northern Balkans doing literally nothing except getting slaughtered. So yeah, this very weak country over here is just going to immediately start collapsing. I'm also going to make sure they're on some islands, because otherwise I might forget their colour. And they also start an invasion into this other northern Italian greenish country and take a lot of land there, getting very close to the capital city. This is going to cause a massive withdrawal by these countries, as they're like, I need to defend my homeland more than I need to defend this bit of uselessness. So the red team ends up taking this entire territory, and the Greeks have to fall back from their stuff up here to defend from a huge load more troops who are crashing down towards their core territory. Another country will join the war. This time it's this purplish Turkish Empire thing. I don't know, they're just like, I want some land. And the land that they want is just the Aegean Islands, really. So they go out, they're going to take, I used to know what this island was called, but I don't really. And in fact, they'll take over Crete, which is kind of useless, even though it was, at one point in our history, it was quite cool. But at the moment, I'm not sure it's that rich. Anyway, they take most of the Aegean Islands, and with the help of the blue team, who's kind of more navally advanced than them, they will actually, the red team's going to make a landing right here and connect up this area, and now the Greek capital is very much under threat. Landings are going to be made on these sort of, I don't know what this, islandy bits, and in the end the Greek capital will be taken and the Greek states will surrender. A thing of note is that these guys both lost their capital cities and pretty much their entire countries, so yeah. I mean, not the green team, they didn't lose that much, but these guys did. So, in a peace treaty, let's start off over here in the west, in Italy. I don't think the red team's going to be taking anything from the Italians, because I don't know if they're even going to take all of this. Probably though. These southern Italians, Let's turn on provinces. Because I forgot them last time. They're going to take basically half of the economy from this country, as they take pretty much this bit of land. Yay. And they're also going to take some land, possibly more land. Take some land from the green team, and possibly more land from the other Italians. Does that look good? Yeah, it looks alright. Yeah, it's alright. So the southern Italians have definitely bumped themselves up a bit more. They're significantly stronger. And now let's look at the Greek part of the peace treaty. I think part of this is going to be quite easy, really. Actually, it might just all be quite easy. This is annoying. Purple team, you're going to be annexing all the stuff you took. So that's all these islands. They're all yours now. I don't want to click on those islands. I don't want to do that. And now let's get to the red team part of the treaty. That's the bit that you want to see, probably. And I think they're going to take a lot of land. Really? That's crazy. They literally took down the entire Greek country. You think they're going to take a lot of land? They even take this city, which the Greeks were very much campaigning to get. However, they just sent military threats, and the Greeks had to back down. And in the end, the red team will take this entire Balkan area. And now the red team empire looks a bit like this. Yeah, I'd be... Oh, no. There you go. Don't worry about that. I wouldn't worry if I was the Greeks. You just lost basically your entire empire to the Bosphorus guys. Actually, to the Turks. You don't want to do that. Anyway, whilst we're here, I might want to just find a layer and try and keep that one on. Because if I don't have another layer on, the map looks like this. And I don't want the map to look like this. So I might just keep major cities on. However, the other layer I was looking at, which I think is this one, trade routes. Let's do trade routes. Yeah, this is quite a good idea. I think it's about the right time that we add trade routes into this series. Where are they going to be starting though? I was thinking about maybe starting them in India. However, I think it's too far out. And also maybe you could start them in like Caucasia or Europe. But I think it makes the most sense to put them over here in the red team. Just like then the heart of it all. So the trade routes are going to begin in Baghdad, in the center of the red team. They've got 4 core areas, so they've got like this sort of area, this Persian sort of area, African area, and the Arabian area, and then just the capital bit. So they're going to try and link up with the important parts of those territories. So going over from their capital city, the red team's trade route is going to link up with this city, and then up with the coast, and they go around to reach this city. This is quite expensive, but oh, that's major cities. Yeah, let's not do it on that layer. Let's actually do it on the trade route layer, maybe. What's going on? Well, this layer stuff always really worries me. I mean, I think it's right. Oh well, so the red team goes out from their capital city, and they go around to the coast over here. So they reach this sort of Syrian coast, and they're going to go over to this city. That's pretty cool. From here, they go through this area that I will not name for political reasons, and eventually arrive over here in Alexandria. I mean, this bit can be whatever you want it to be, I guess. That's what it feels like at the moment. So, they've got around to Alexandria. And now they're probably going to reach over to the Caspian Sea, because that's another important economic area. So they go over here, link up with this city, and reach this bit. Now this is going to really boost the economy of the red team, because they've linked up to most of their important areas, although apparently Azerbaijan has a load of cities in it. I don't know why. Also, my god, Africa's going crazy. So a few other countries are going to want this sort of stuff, like the Persians and also the blue team. Now the red team doesn't really like the Persians, they're a bit threatened by them. However, they will make a trade route going through Persia and into this blue team city over here, and eventually it's just going to go up and reach the blue team capital. So these two are more linked. I mean, naval trade exists, but there's not a whole load of it. If I go on here. Cool, this line, actually, I don't know what I'm... Anyway, sorry. I'm just worried that this line's going to be on the entire map. I don't want that to happen. Anyway, this should be useful in the future for like making major cities, because of course they're going to be on the trade routes. The red team's also going to expand from this point further out into this African area, well, just further along the Egyptian coast, and also down the Nile. However, they will make an agreement with the blue country and breach over into both of their cities. This country is very poor. However, a point of anger between these two is that the red team has a load of troops in this country, and they're like, why do you have your military there? What are you doing, red team? Why you just leave? They're like, nah, I think I'm just gonna keep my troops here. And eventually, you know, they come to an agreement and understanding, and it's like, right, you just keep your troops there to keep the trade routes safe. You're not going to invade my country. And eventually, these two form a really good bond and sort of alliance. And the future looks quite bright between these two. Possibly alliances. We'll see. I don't have an alliance layer, but I suppose I should probably make that for the future. Great, more things to add. And yeah, that's the trade routes at the moment. Actually, they might make one more bit. Going down here towards this sort of Kuwait, Iraq area. And that probably will go into India in the future. Cool, trade routes turned off. Let's go to more expansionist stuff. As the blue country in Northern Africa, in Tunisia, has finally made it to Iberia. And they saw it from Tangiers. However, they've actually made it there, and they're going to be taking over a lot of the coast. Probably not that bit, though. Like the stuff they actually are parallel to. So they take all this territory, and, you know, they make a lot of money from this. I mean, Carthage, you think they had lots of silver here. So somebody else wants to get in on this. And that certain somebody else is the southern Italians. That was a tongue twister. And they, you know, they can't exactly get over there. They're not quite linked up enough to get around into this territory. However, why don't you just invade Sardinia, you know? Just do that. So the southern Italian country, who is one of the stronger countries in the world, will invade into Sardinia and just take the capital city. There you go. And they don't need to take Corsica. And in a peace treaty between all of these nations, they're just going to take a few of the provinces, not even all of Sardinia. And it looks something like this. Great. So they've taken some Sardinian territory and the city, but also, quite importantly, if I can find the right layer for it, which I can't. Great. They're going to appoint one of their leaders onto the throne. Come on, man. Okay, one of their leaders onto the throne of Sardinia. Sardinia, Piedmont? No. So let's move that, I don't know, somewhere over here, probably. Corsica. Also, this one needs to be moved. Oh, God. There we go, sorry. Yeah, everyone is a monarchy now except for India. India is the only non-monarchy country. But finally, the southern Italians can go over to Iberia. So they're going to do that. Is that the right colour? Yeah, it is. Anyway, so they finally arrive in the Balearic Islands, and they're going to take over these bits. And the Tunisians, actually, they were the ones funding the Bosphorus country during the war against the Greeks, because they didn't like them, because the Greeks stopped their control over Italy. However, they also funded the southern Italians, and are like, dude, you're betraying me now. What is this? It's not fair. Anyway, so they make a landing around in this point of Iberia, and they're going to crawl up the coast a bit into Catalonia. It's a pretty large colony, actually. And in response to that, the blue team is going to take over the entire Andalusian area of Iberia. And by that I just mean southern Iberia. I've still got a cold somehow. British weather. Anyway, this green country, their economy got hurt a lot. However, they're going to expand into the Alps. Yeah, that's not going to be good until like the modern era, when skiing exists. Anyway, they've got a longer looking country. There's no chance for you, Mr. Yellowish Brownish country. There's nothing you can really do to help yourself. you're kind of screwed. Anyway, so the Italians have almost the entire French coast, and the red team is also going to do some expansion because they definitely haven't expanded. Actually, let's do these. Let's do these guys first. You need to get into Germany. It's about time. So they made their way into eastern Germany, and they will finally arrive. They can get to the North Sea now, which they definitely can. They take all of this territory, but they're also going to expand up here into northern Latvia. Nice. The red team will take over this sort of Hungarian area, maybe? Hungary, Czechoslovakia bit. That's a lot of land. And they now have a very big European empire, like a sort of Bulgarian empire, if you think about the old Bulgarian country in real life. The Indians, they're going to do some massive expansion, as they are actually finally going to make it over to the western coast of India. Eastern coast. Come on, man, eastern coast. Now the southern Indian bit is barren of any countries, but just for now, it might get some more in a second. And in fact, we're going to see a few countries, people leaving the Indian country to go form their own nations down here. So nation number 1 is this reddish country. Nation number 2, let's make a greenish limeish one. Nation number 3, 2. Nation number 2 is this country. I'm going to draw so many provinces, man. Nation number 3 is a bluish one. Yeah, they took the entire interior of this area. No coast, no coast. Nation number 4, let's make this purplish sort of country. All these guys are very bright. And they get all this coastal area the blue team didn't get. And nation number 4 is going to be an orange one. So here you go, here's the new countries. I guess they need capitals, don't they? Probably. Oh, I don't want to give them capitals. Damn it. So red team is going to be here. Green team, you put your capital like here. Blue team, just put it in the center somewhere. Purple team there, and you guys have your capital here. Nice. Bam. Oh my god. Bam, 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 and bam. I didn't draw those right. All it is clicking on a yellow dot. You can do this, man. Cool, so India looks a lot more colourful. These guys are pretty dark, so I made the other colours quite a lot brighter. And I'm just wondering, I've got 22 minutes left. This video might not have been the most eventful, but how about I talk about a few more things that are going to happen in the next episode. Caucasia, they're not having a good time. If you look over here at the blue country, they might only have 4 major cities at the moment. However, yeah, they're expanding very quickly. Their happiness levels, there's no happiness index in the world. However, they have a very happy country. Lots of people are really enjoying their time in this nation. And there's been a huge load of immigration to move here. So the population is growing very quickly. And it's also lots of young adult people. Not like tons of children in their country. Which means they've got a massive workforce. And like a really high birth rate. So the population growth is one of the highest in the world. And it's just really good to live here. I mean, these guys are kind of sunk in tradition, and it's actually lots of people from their puppet state and also the Ukrainian areas, which are becoming more and more unstable in their country. They're just leaving to go over here to this blue Northern European empire. So yeah, I'm sure that's going to be completely fine in the future, and it will have no adverse effects on your country. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you again next time. Subscribe. And comment if you have any ideas. I still feel like there's a load of other stuff that we could add to this, and I want you to be a part of it. Thanks.